pledged an oath in blood. And now my home, all that I loved, is gone. Pain is all I have left.
We noticed that this new entry in the God of War saga is much graphically superior to the others, not just in scope, but also you've managed to add a little oomph to your art style, because the God of War series has always been a lot about the art style that adds to the realism, but you've had a lot of effects, had a lot of shine to so many textures. Was it a big challenge to do it?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'd just like to say that I'm not on the art team, and I'm not an art director, so I can't speak too much on exactly the process of improving things. But I will say that, you know, I do know that some of the engine did change in terms of the way rendering and lighting works, and we just have an amazing art team. And every single time we get done with the God of War, it's like, well, you know, can they make it look any better? And then usually the answer is always like, yes, we'll get right on it. So, you know, this game, I think the focus on this game is kind of more on the adventure aspect, so there's going to be a lot of traveling, a lot of exploring new art style, or new, destinations. And
so it's not simply the action slashing part of the game. There's a lot of adventure exploration through new areas, new places.
Yeah, so therefore you're giving the art team kind of the ability to just go crazy and create these awesome environments.
I also wanted to ask you something about the gameplay. How do you feel that you have evolved the gameplay from God of War 1, 2, and 3 to God of War Ascension? How do you feel the gameplay, the overall feel of the game has evolved?
Well, I mean, for the multiplayer standpoint, you know, it changed a lot, you know, because we wanted to make sure that the fighting was balanced, to make sure that people could read other people's attacks, counter. Something that Kratos doesn't have to worry about too much, because he's just like super powerful and just kills everything, you know.
Yeah.
But for Kratos, we wanted to add kind of a new meta game within the game, meaning that, you know, as they're fighting, you're actually aiming to do something else other than kill the enemies. And in doing that, we created the rage system, which now builds up every single fight. Previous God of War fans might remember, like, we had a God mode that would kind of trickle up as you went through mini fights, but players would tend to kind of just save that for, like, you know, super hard boss encounter or something like that, and they wouldn't use it. So we wanted to give something that players can use often and all the time, and that's what the rage system brought us. In the demo, we don't show the elements that he will gain in his quest, but when he gets those, the rage system gets even more improved, because now special moves get enhanced, his combos change, or his combos enders change, and it affects his gameplay a lot more than it seems.
So it evolves the gameplay. The players will have something to look forward to in terms of gameplay. And
well, every single fight, just looking to do more than just kill the enemies. You want to do it in a way that keeps your rage meter up.
Now, a lot of the elements in God of War that have always impressed us are both the environments, the scope of the environments, and the bosses. The boss fights are always absolutely spectacular.
That's cool.
I can't ask you about, as you said, you're not in the art team. I can't ask you about the challenge to make all the different animations, which must be absolutely awful. But in terms of the scope, the story, how do you feel you can evolve that?
Well, I mean, we do work directly with the animation team, so and they probably hate a lot of the ideas that come out of the design team, because, like, for example, Hecaton is a creature that has multiple limbs, a lot of things going on.
Because you have to do a lot of things.
So that means lots of animation.
Unlike other games, which sometimes reuse the same animation.
Right.
Over and over.
That's actually exactly right.
Exactly. You always show new animations, new stuff, completely new environments, always bigger and better, and with more colors and with more elements. How do you do that?
Well, I mean, we just have a lot of passionate people. That's really what it comes down to, because our animation team is awesome. You know, the combat design team actually sits right next to them, so we work directly with each other, and they're just as passionate as anyone else. So when we create new characters, even from the concept stage, and animators looking at it, going like, oh, I might have trouble with this. You might want to change this design, edit this, or they may add things to it that they think are going to be awesome to animate. So we work together with them as much as we can to make sure that we don't create something that they can't animate or don't want to animate. We want to make sure that they are as involved with the gameplay as we are.
Where do you get your ideas from? obviously it's from Greek mythology. There's a lot of different elements, but where do you get the whole ideas from? From the story to the elements to the brutal ways that Kratos murders people, for the different things that build the game in order to be constantly fun to somebody, because that's a staple of the God of War series. It's always something better, something bigger, something more fun.
Yeah, well, Santa Monica Studio, we play games ourselves, and I think that's a big part of it. Like, the second our game is, playable, like people are playing it, they want to, see, is it fun to them? Is it fun to, so we already get a lot of feedback just within the studio. We also do lots of play tests as well, so we bring people in to test things along the way to make sure that it's going down a path that we want. And in terms of just inspiration of kind of what drives us to do this is just that, part of it's just being a gamer, like I said, just wanting to do things that you want to see. But part of it, I think, is just you want to make sure that we maintain the legacy of what was started in God of War 1. It's like God of War 1, we brought like a brutal kind of epic experience, and every single game we kind of want to just bring it up a notch, and we're not satisfied with just kind of sitting back and doing exactly the same thing. We always want to do something.
I remember that in God of War 2, you started big. It wasn't just you started fighting Zeus with the blade of the gods, and then fighting the Colossus, and something right from the beginning. Then it doesn't stop. It always gets bigger and better.
Well, it's a big part of a game to make sure that the opening is one of the most spectacular parts of the game, because we feel the opening is the first thing that the gamer sees when he puts in the disc. So we want to make sure that right away he's drawn in, he's compelled to continue playing.
What about Sony Santa Monica has always impressed us with God of War. Do you think that you might make any new IPs in the future? Do you have any more ideas for new IPs and new challenges now that the PlayStation 4 is almost coming? This is probably your last game for the PS3. Now that PlayStation 4 is coming, you probably already got the dev kits and everything. Do you feel that you might be able to work on a new IP in the future?
Well, I mean, I can't speak to the future. I mean, I know what you're asking.
Your bosses will tell you,
it's like
do this, do that.
They will tell us like exactly what we're going to do. But
ideas, inspiration, you have it.
But I will say that everybody, like I said, Santa Monica Studio is a gamer, and everybody has ideas, and everybody has things that can drive what we do next. So we can only see what happens.
One more thing. How did you define Kratos as a character? Kratos at first seems like a very one-dimensional character. I mean, he has the basic tragedy. He's always angry. He's always trying to kill everything in his way. But at the same time, you kind of feel drawn to him. Like almost 6 games later, you actually feel that he has grown as a character, that he has evolved beyond what you just imagined it at first. What's the whole process behind Kratos, behind creating him? The story, the dialogue, all the elements.
Well, at the core, I mean, Kratos has a good kind of, I guess, backstory or backdrop, meaning that we have rules that whenever we create new moves or create new story elements, we want to maintain the Kratos character, where it's like he doesn't back down, he's not afraid, he's just always moving forward. He's also brutal as well. Like, he would do whatever it takes to get it done. Introduced all the way back in God of War 1 when he was just doing things, he had to do it to go forward. The main thing in this game is that we wanted to show the side that was just less angry at everything. It's like
it's before he killed his
it's after he killed his wife. It takes place pretty much 6 months or so after he killed his wife, so very, very recent series of events. And this just shows again the torment and things that he had to go through, as well as where his mindset was. So in this game, he's trying to break his oath to Ares because he's like, I'm done with this. But in doing that, now the Furies come up and punish him, which is what we showed at the beginning of the game. So Ascension will show exactly like how he got to that predicament, and it will hopefully show a different side of Kratos than we've showed before.
Pain is all I have left.
Hello, Kratos.
have no reason to trust me, Spartan. I only ask that you try.
You leave an army in disarray. Return to us, General.